Hey guys, today I will make a lot longer video than usual, explaining you the stuff that has changed with the zone changes and the UI changes and so on. Um, I will firstly show you how the zone stuff is now working for exiting PvE and entering PvE again, because it was exploited in the past. So currently you see we are in a PvP state, which means we have global PvP active, right? And we can check that by the main config. You see the main menu has changed for the admin menu. We do have no PvE active. We always have from Sunday to Monday or Monday to Sunday global PvP active. And this was a case where we also change the camera so I can better show that. So, and in this case, we had, for example, here a PvE zone. Let me delete that marker. So here's the PvE zone, as you can see. And then there was people like me walking around outside PvP state, and someone in a PvE, player B for example, moved from the PvE zone into the PvP, global PvP. He was instantly in the PvP state and was shooting the players outside. And then he moved back to the PvE zone to get PvE protection again. And the other player outside the PvE zone, which was in PvP state, global PvP state, couldn't do anything. So we have changed that now when we move from global PvE, a global PvP, now into the zone, like so. We do have a PvP exit timer. And this timing, the player can still get killed in the PvE zone because he keeps the PvP state, as you can see on the icon. Now it changed to the shield. Now we are in a PvE state. If we move out of the PvE zone, we have now an exit PvE timer. Means we can take cover before someone in global PvP can shoot at us. And therefore there is no PvE camping possible anymore. Means we can now also go back to the PvE zone. Now we can still be shot because we are in a PvP state, so the player has to take care of that, and you have to inform your players about these changes. It can be confusing, but that's how it is now. And yeah, this was to make sure that it can't be exploited anymore. So let me change the weather. Also, what we have changed is admin menu for AV master support. We do see zones now on the map. Sometimes it's not displaying, then you have to relog. It has to do with the minimap, and I don't know why, but I need to figure out why. So yeah, you can see the zones here. Then also we changed the menu. It's a different color a bit. The buttons, we have made it a bit bigger, and we have categories now. We have here general settings, global PvP, PvE settings, camera settings, countdown settings, safe zone settings, enable disable actions, AFK settings, and enable disable zone creation stuff. So this is now sorted, and the save button also changed on the bottom right now. It is only one button right now. It was multiple buttons. I changed that. And we moved some settings from the general tab to other tabs. For example, the only allowed raiding players, we moved that into raid. Makes sense. We have moved the cycle drawing width, which is the thickness of the lines, also under the map tab. Same for the strike line meters. And yeah, so everything else is kind of the same. Under other tab, you will find now logging level. This needs a reset as stated. And we have a new function here, and you can now preview your icon and change it in real time. You don't need the numbers here, the values. You can still use it, but you can press here the button, and then you will have preview like a monitor, and the white area is like the monitor, and the red that dot in the icon The red dot in the middle is the icon. Sorry. And then we can move it with the sliders here. As you can see, we can move it like so. Let's make it on the bottom right where the health icon is. So kind of like that. Yeah, it's okay. We have to change the icon size. Of course, it's not perfect, but you get the hang of it. So there's the icon now. You can't move the square here. You have to use the sliders like so. That's the icon here. We move it to the top left. And there it is on the top left. So you have to, if you want to close that, just press escape. And then you can open the admin menu again. I made it so that when we open the admin menu, the HUD is blended out. You don't see your icons in the hotbar. But when you edit the icon position, you will see it. So you can adjust where you want to have it for your players. Yeah, so then the zone editor has changed. We removed the close button here. Now zone settings won't show now because we need to select a zone first and then we see the zone settings here. We can then change the settings and as before and save it. But for example, if we can remove this zone here, it does deselect and then you don't have any settings. So you don't mess around with settings. And if you, for example, edit a zone like so and make it now, I don't know, PvE, save, the settings panel is gone. And then you have to re-click the zone again. The selection will stay. So we click it. We can, for example, make here the Kamensk military base. Let's make it visual only, save. It will keep the selection and you just need to click it again to make sure you have the new changes and can change it again. Yeah, so this is basically it. You won't be forced for deselection anymore because before it was like when dynamic events happened, like the wreck or the airdrop, it had to synchronize between server and client the zones. This is not the case anymore if you're in the admin menu. So before, when you were in the admin menu and there was a new dynamic zone spawning, it was deselecting the selected zone. This is not happening anymore. So you won't be interrupted anymore. And that's pretty cool, right? Yeah, what else? We have still the same for the item routes editor here. We can preview, we can zoom in and out here, and you can change it. So the only thing you need to know maybe is that when we select something in here, it has always priority. So when we type in here now, car script, like so, and we're going to edit to vehicles, it will add the animal, the Bostaurus, so the cow will be added. It will take priority of the selection here. So you have to reopen the editor and type it first and then edit vehicles and then it's working. Yeah, so what else changed? The reload functions will now show which configuration got reloaded, which is pretty handy. We also removed in the main config, if we scroll up here, the start and end hour for the global PvE and PvP zones because it was too complicated for some players to set it up correctly. I removed it and make it simple. Each day is now from 0 to 24. That means if we move Monday to Thursday to PvE and we want to have weekend PvP, we make it like this. So Friday, Saturday and Sunday is the weekend, for example. And we do activate it. We reload the configs in-game. Double check. It is changed. Means we now have PvP days Friday, Saturday, Sunday, 0 to 24. And Monday to Tuesday, it's PvE global. Simple as that. Yeah, so what else has been changed? Yeah, the blocking action, for example. We are now in a PvE state. Let's get out in PvP state to show you that. Right. Oh yeah, we changed that. So let me add a new zone to demonstrate it. Get position meters. So now we're in PvP state. When you go in the item rules editor, we will see that we have blocked. Oh no, we blocked it in PvE. Okay, so we remove that, and then territory flag kit, we will put it in PvP. This means block deploy items PvP is when the player has PvE or PvP or raid state. It is not zone related, it is player state related. Means if you have global PvP and you say you want to block the territory flag kit, then it will be blocked globally, right? So we spawn it, take it, and if we want to place it now, I love that game. Why can't I place it now? Okay, let me check that. Okay, now you see it's PvP blocked. Deploying territory flag kit is blocked in PvP. It will show a notification. Now if we go item rules editor and remove it, and replace it, it is allowed, right? As you can see. Yeah, so and if we go in PvE, it is also allowed, of course. But it is related to player state, not zone state. Again, if the player has PvP state, it is blocked. It's blocking the action to place the object or the item, whatever. So if you have global PvP active and you block territory flag kit, nobody will be able to place the territory flag kit in on the whole map, except there is a PvE zone. If there is a PvE zone and the player gets PvE state, then he can place it, right? Everything else is PvP. If you have PvE global, like every day, 24/7, and you block it in PvP and you make PvP zones, then you can only place the stuff outside, so everywhere in the world, but you can't place it in a PvP zone. This is the only way currently I have implemented this. I maybe change it later to also make it zone based, and you can decide what to use, but that will take a bit time. And yeah, that's basically it right now. There's nothing else we can show. Only the new setting for zones is also there. Only expansion 2D marker means if we check that, it will only list the marker on the expansion map on the left side under server markers, but not in the world as 3D marker. If you check the 3D check mark and uncheck this and save, it will show in the world and on the map panel, of course. So make sure you decide what you want. You only should check one of these. Yeah, what else to say? Draw strike lines is now also working for dynamic zones. Like here's the UH1, that's a contaminated area. And this is an item event like the convoy or something like that. Can't tell you that right now. And yeah, so it's working for dynamic zones. Also, the contaminated area can now be changed to the radius you want to change it to. It will always take the center coordinates and then you change the radius. And again, for everyone, dynamic zone settings do not apply instantly. They only apply if a zone gets created. So for example, this zone is already there. If you change contaminated area settings now in the JSON file and you reload, it will not take over the settings because it's already there. If it's gone and spawns again as a new zone, then the setting will take over to the new zone. So if you change the color to red, it won't change now. It is green. If the next contaminated area spawns like here, and you have the color set to red now, it will be red. It has to create the zone again, new and fresh. Yeah, so that's basically how it is. Yeah, that's all I have to say right now. And the release will be maybe tomorrow. If I can't release it tomorrow, I will release it next week, Monday or Tuesday. All right, guys. See you later.